Why does December act like we're supposed to reinvent our entire lives in 30 days?
Like, sorry, I'm still wrapping up holiday meals and family get-togethers.
And yet somehow you're expected to have a 5-year plan by New Year's Eve?
No, this episode is for anyone who wants a fresh start, but also wants to keep their actual sanity.
We're sharing how we set goals, to very different styles, so you can take what works for you and ditch the rest.
Your goals, your rules. Let's start the year right.
Okay, before we get into the vision crafting of it all, first of all, what's top of mind for you?
Okay, friend. So I debated talking about this, but it legitimately frustrated me for the last 24 hours. So I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to tell the very abbreviated story. There was a girl who attended a dating event. So let me just set the scene real quick. Y'all know that I've been attending these dating events for the last few months in Dallas, and the most recent ones I had been attending by someone that I met through these dating events. She is the one who organized them, created them. She's done a really great job. She's a volunteer. She does this truly out of the kindness of her heart, and she puts so much of her time, energy, and efforts into making these what they are. They're amazing. So there was someone who attended this event. She posted about it on TikTok saying, the organizer is doing a great job, but these events are just not for Black women. They're not meant for us. We're not in these spaces. Da, 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 da. She's going on. And I'm like, okay, I totally understand, because I've also experienced where I've gone to places that I didn't feel like they were meant for me. But I just feel like her saying that about a dating event is, in my opinion, kind of a stretch, because you could argue that that is the same across the board. Dallas dating is terrible. Mm-hmm. And I just was super frustrated because it felt like she was kind of attacking these dating events that Abby created. Her name is Abby. And I'm just like, Abby has done a really great job being super inclusive, making sure that everybody feels welcome. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I've been to these events, and I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't a fair assessment. And that's all of that to say that if you're attending these events, especially speaking from a woman of color, you kind of get what you put into it. So you have to go in super open. You need to be welcome. You need to just be present and just be open to whatever comes. And if you get caught in a conversation that you're like, this is not going to work, just kindly excuse yourself and go. But to say that these spaces aren't for us, when I have been to these events multiple times and I know that the spaces are not just for me, but they're for everybody, being completely open. It was kind of I don't know, it was a little bit disheartening to hear that. So, and again, there are people online that also shared the same sentiment, but Abby did a really great job. She came online, addressed what she had been doing, but also made it very clear and set the expectation. She is a volunteer. She does not get paid for this. Her and her marketing manager do a really great job about getting the word out there, and she's doing everything she can, but it's new. This only started in June. It's December. I just want people to be a little bit more understanding. And if the issue is diversity, then bring your friends. I know I have single friends that I've brought to the events. I know I've told them about it. Same thing across the board. Bring people to those events to increase it, but she can only control so much, because you can't get into the weird stuff of tracking the types of people who buy tickets. That gets weird. She's doing a very great job about making sure that it's even number of men's and women's tickets, but she can't control who actually shows up to the event. She can only do so much, saying we have 100 men's tickets, 100 women's tickets, but that's it. Once they sell out, they sell out. But then it depends on who actually decides to show up. Things happen. So anyway, I was just ranting about it. Oh yeah, man. I was just yeah, it's a lot.
Was her critique or rationale essentially saying there's not enough diversity of the men that are there in attendance?
It was the critique of, I'm assuming, again, I don't want to speak for her, but the way that the video came off is because she said this event is not for Black women. She's assuming, I would assume that this is speaking to the standard of beauty, specifically in Dallas, and what people like. And I mean, again, I get that. I've definitely been in those spaces where I'm yeah, this ain't it. But I've been to multiple events that Abby has created, and I've never once felt out of place. I actually think they're pretty diverse, if I'm being honest.
Mm.
But again, I feel like people need to just be a little bit more open about, like, everybody knows that dating in Dallas is awful. And I just don't think that that is a fair assessment to her events that she creates, when literally every other dating event, dating type thing in Dallas is the exact same way. They're the exact same way. So
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was a fair assessment. And I just feel like if you're going to go online and say something like that, like, I feel like you need to be a little bit more fair and provide solutions that actually can contribute to that, and also like do your part as well. So
Yeah. Well,
not to discount
hopefully,
anybody's experience, but I had to get that out there because I was frustrated.
yeah, no doubt. And I know you've been to a ton of them, and you've hyped up Abby before and hyped up her events before, because these are the datey events, right? Is that what they're called?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And you've had positive experiences at them, even if, you know, some of the men aren't always menning at them.
Correct.
But
Correct. But that doesn't
that
take
is not
away from
at
the
fault of the event. That is just
exactly. That is not the event coordinator's fault. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you get what you put into the event, and you show up and you're open. If you don't have a connection, that's okay. But I don't know. I think people need to give her a little bit more grace and know that, like, again, she's doing everything that she can. She's working on continuous improvements for the events.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
Well, hopefully the way that she addressed it, and like hearing more positive stories from you and others as well, won't discourage anyone from going. And who knows, maybe that person will, you know, give it another try and have a more positive experience.
I hope so. But again, we'll see. But
We'll
anyway,
see.
Yeah. What about you?
Okay. Top of mind for me, I'm just annoyed. I think it's like the end of the year, and I'm just like, ugh, everyone. So my top of mind is a bit of an ick, a bit of a gripe.
Ooh, I love an ick.
Bad meeting attendees in a corporate setting. Okay? Because why are we all professionals here? And you are just, I'm just like, I don't know how else to describe it, but a bad meeting attendee. Okay? Like, one, if you're someone who shows up chronically 10 minutes late, and in fact, I will say that my new rule, if I am meeting with a man who has been, because it's always a man, I swear to God. If you have been significantly late multiple times, and we have like a standing meeting, right? I will now show up even later to make you wait. So we're starting this meeting at this point 15 minutes late because your ass is always 10 minutes late. And so I'm going to make you wait an extra 5 minutes because I'm pissed, to the point where I will jump into the Zoom. And if you're not there yet, I'm jumping out and I'm answering emails for a little bit, and then I'll jump back in. I'm not sitting there waiting for you because it just irritates me. So that's one bad meeting attendee. Also, and I blame this one on people like giving really bad corporate advice on the internet now. I don't know if you've seen this, but like when people are like, oh, how do you survive a corporate setting? And like some of the advice is good. Some of the advice is terrible. But the person in a meeting who always restates the obvious. I'm like they'll be quiet the whole meeting, and then they jump in and they say a one-liner that's like, yeah, we answered that question like 7 questions ago. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you're now setting the conversation back, or you're stating something that's like, yeah, we all know that, move on. And I'm just like, I genuinely think that is because people online are telling people to do that. And I'm like, you saw that on TikTok. I'm like, feel like I'm clocking it in meetings. I'm like, that was terrible advice, and now I'm annoyed with you. And then the other thing, the other bad meeting attender, is when somebody takes up the entire meeting with their bullshit, and so nobody else gets a word in, and we don't move the conversation forward in any way. Like, we're supposed to be talking about topic A, and you're over here griping about topic B. You're not reading the goddamn room. Everyone is sitting there in silence because you talk slower than pond water. And I'm just like, read the room, buddy. What is happening? So, and like also those people tend to like dictate the entire meeting with like whatever they're griping about. And it's just like, ugh. So I'm just like really annoyed with bad meeting attendees is what's top of mind for me. And it's just making me be like, I cannot wait to be done with the year so that I can have a break from all of you. That's how I feel.
Completely valid. And the way that I thought, as you were saying all of these different icks and specific bad meeting attendees, I had people in mind for every single one.
I guarantee, like, if you work in a corporate setting, you're like, yes, that person, I'm done with all of them. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And some people genuinely just like to hear themselves talk. They are just talking. What are you yapping about? This meeting is only 30 minutes and you're taking up 20 minutes of yapping. Like, we're not even getting to the point. I've sat in meetings in the past where I'm just like, I'm going off camera because my face says it all. I just, yes. I can't do it. I can't do it. So no, it's completely valid. I hear you.
Yes. I'm thinking, I'm like, I need to do a whole video about this. I think I'm so frustrated. But
I was about to say, you probably should. Cause I was like, oh, this would make a really great TikTok. So yeah, definitely do that.
Okay. Well, let's get into goal setting before I lose my damn mind.
So the world has its opinions on how you should set goals.
And the world is often wrong.
Jess is the structured one, color-coded, timeline systems, all the things.
Yeah, I won't lie. Like if my goals are not written down in detail by month, by quarter, by like area of my life, like, like my career, my health, like whatever, like they don't exist unless they're written down.
And I am allergic to all of those things. I don't think I can do that. I've definitely done it in the past, but right now, instead of setting very strict goals, I set intentions. And I talked about this previously, but I kind of think about it in themes and what's going on in my life. So sometimes it's a list of things. Like, as an example, I used to do lists that are like 25 things in 2025, 24 and 2024, that sort of thing. And I would make those intentional lists and just a variety of different things. Sometimes it's just like a vibe or a word of the year that I lean into, but it truly is just about the direction, not necessarily the like strict rules that go behind it.
Yeah. And I love that, but that would never work for me. And we are definitely opposites in that way, but it works.
It's very true. And that's okay. That's okay because there isn't one right way to do it. There's only one right way for you, and you have to find what that looks like and essentially stick to it, if it makes sense.
Exactly. Which brings us to the most important part, and that's that you cannot plan your future while someone else is like sitting there yelling charades across the room.
or while being emotionally held hostage by holiday small talk, which get that away from me.
Goal setting requires space. It's like whether or not you take the space to yourself in a solo coffee date, or waking up an hour earlier than everyone else, which is my favorite, or simply just saying no to one holiday event so you can have the time and space to yourself to set the goals or your intentions or however your strategy ends up being for the new year.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you never step away from the chaos, you never get quiet enough to hear yourself. And that's something that I have really learned over the few years that I've been doing, like my, intentions and things like that, is that I will I go home for Christmas every year, and everybody all knows that, but I will come home earlier than I normally would, just so I have a few days to have that space to fully reset. And, I do all of the thinking like throughout December, but really taking those last few days of the year and just being in some like solitude, essentially, so I can like go through all of this and like be prepared.
100%.
Mm-hmm. And once you actually have some peace and quiet,
then you have options. So we essentially collected some of the common ways that different people set goals, whether it's ourselves or other people in the interweb, so that you have some options to pick from. And so the important thing is to pick whichever one feels like your brain is shouting yes.
Yes. So option 1 is the 3 bucket method. So health, wealth, and self. One goal in each. Pretty simple, clean, very like I have my life together. And I kind of like this one. It's for the person who feels kind of overwhelmed by goal setting, that feels like, oh my gosh, I want to do this, that, and the other. But it's like, okay, let's just like start very small. I think this is a great beginner one, that you think of one goal for health, one goal for wealth, and one goal for self. And that's it. I like it.
I love this one too. I will say I do like a version of this intertwined
Mhm.
into all of my other, rules and organization. Um, and I will just say you could also change the bucket. So like if health, wealth,
Oh.
self doesn't feel right, like, and you want to do like, I don't know, like career could be one, right? Whatever the
Mhm.
buckets are, it makes sense. Okay, another
Yeah.
option is word of the year. So instead of trying to micromanaging specific behaviors, leading with some sort of identity. So your word becomes the filter for your decisions. I kind of like this one too. It feels very honestly similar to like what you're talking about where with like setting intentions.
Yeah, I agree. And like coming up with that word, and that can take time as you are
Mhm.
going through your reflection period of thinking about, okay, what word do I want to lean into for the new year? I know in the past I've had like a focus word, and that has kind of been the title essentially of the list that I had made of intentions. And that is kind of what I leaned into throughout the year. And of course, things change, but I think that's a really great way to kind of like have that centered around the goals that you set. Goals and intentions,
Mhm.
of course. Okay, so the next one, quarterly experiments. Instead of forcing a habit forever, try it for 90 days. If it sucks, release it into the wild. And I kind of like this one too. There's so many different ways. I love this is like the beauty about goal setting and setting yourself up for success is that there are so many ways to do it. And I love the idea of like, okay, if you're somebody who likes to try new things and experiment, as an example, I'll use this for gym. So actually right now in the last few months, I have been trying out different gyms and kind of hopping around just to see what I like. And that could be, especially if you're trying to get, let's say you're trying to get into the gym, try different places out because there are so many different modalities out there, so many different places that have different times for you, different types of like just training aspects that you can check out and see what makes the most sense. So try something for 90 days. And if you're like, it's not for me, move on to the next one.
Yeah. I love this too. And as we're going through these, I'm realizing I'm like, oh, in corporate settings, I have actually in on different teams or different times like used all of these. Like the idea of like quarterly experiments and trying something for 90 days. Even when I've been on teams where we like set goals for an entire half, it's usually 3
Mm-hmm.
months in that we like revisit those goals because we've learned so much in those 3 months. And so I also like this from the perspective of like it can feel really overwhelming to be like we talked about at the beginning of what am I going to do by the end of the year? What am I going to do by the end of 5 years? So it's like just do 90 days. That's totally
Yeah.
doable. And then you can decide from there, do you want to keep it going? Do you want to try something new? Whatever it might be. Another option for goal setting could be reverse engineering the vibe. I'm obsessed with this one. This is also part of my goal setting. Figuring out how you want to feel at the end of the year and then choosing actions that match that energy. So, do I want to feel um, independent, more independent? Do I want to feel really happy? Do I want to feel lighter? Do I want to feel confident? Whatever it is. And like the way I do that is like I sit and I meditate on that and I like really envision how am I going to feel and go from there.
I really like that. And I think leaning into, you can almost add like journaling into that as well. Cause I feel like
Yeah.
if you can get your feelings across and like really like hone in on like, okay, how am I wanting this next year to feel? Like as an example, I've had a lot of chaos in 2025. There's a lot, and I've felt very just on edge and I felt very panicked. Okay, I'm not saying this is me, but like this was me at some
Yeah.
point in the year. But like if that was your year where you're just like, I just felt like I was just running 1,000 miles an hour. It's like, okay, let's reset. Let's figure out, okay, if I was doing that in 2025, how am I doing this in 2026? What am I
Yeah.
going to change and shift that will mirror that energy that you're trying to take in throughout the entire year?
Yeah. It also forces you to be introspective because sometimes the things, and we
Mhm.
talked about this before, but the things that you think that you want are actually like more like societal pressures or what you think you should want than what actually makes you feel good. So if you're like, I want to feel confident, and then you realize that like, or maybe confidence not a good example. Maybe it's like I want to feel lighter about my work. I don't want to feel like everything
Mhm.
is so serious. Then maybe like pushing for a promotion isn't the time right now. You know what I mean? Like running yourself ragged over here isn't the thing you should do. And instead, you need to like prioritize more like family time or friend time or whatever that might be. And then you will have those other times where you're like, no, like I feel so good when I like finish a presentation at work. And it's like, cool,
Yeah.
double down on that, kind of depending on where you are in life at the time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And really it comes down to just taking what fits and you leave the rest. This is not a test. This is not anything you have to like pass or fail. Like, you take what makes sense and you leave behind what you don't need.
Exactly. And this whole goal setting exercise, no matter which strategy you take, I think it's important to note why finding the right one is so critical.
Simply put, if you hate the system, you will abandon the system.
Yep. 5 goals done well are better than 20 goals forgotten by February.
Facts. And really, your goals should come from what you want, not what the trending that girl wants, not what you see online, not what you see celebrities doing. You really need to take the time to sit and reflect on what you really want. What are your intentions? What are your goals for the year? And it needs to be like what you genuinely want to see yourself do and accomplish.
100%. Progress counts even if it's messy too. So it doesn't have to be a perfect process.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of becoming our best supported selves,
we have to hype up our sponsor for this episode and our friends at Handful Activewear.
Bras that support you through every version of yourself, especially the new year, new attempt at wellness version.
Handful celebrates real bodies, real comfort, and real confidence.
Use code SPILLTHETEA, all one word, for 30% off at handfulactive.com. Treat yourself. You deserve it.
Okay, now that we're supported, let's get opinionated.
Ooh, my favorite game. Overrated or underrated? Let's get into it. So y'all know the drill. We have some things that we've listed here as overrated or underrated, and we're just going to chat about it. So
let's do it.
Let's get into it. Okay, perfect. Vision boards, overrated or underrated? Jess?
I think that they are underrated. I love a vision board. Like, I just love it. I've had it in the past where I think we've talked about this, but like putting it on my background on my laptop. Honestly, I haven't made one yet for next year, so I'm like, maybe I will do that. Yeah, I want to do that. I haven't had one in a little bit. Yeah, I love a vision board. Very underrated. How about you?
Same. Underrated. I think I told you about the one last year that my friend Corey created for me. So I sent her pictures of what I wanted for 2025, and she created a phone background for me. So I don't know. She's listening, but I will be sending you pictures again. So that we can create this.
I'm telling you, she needs to charge people to do this. I would pay her.
I've been trying to tell her that she should charge for a few things that she's very good at, but she won't do it. And that's okay. I respect it. But yes, this is one of them because the background is so cute. So I'm excited to have it recreated in some way, shape, or form for next year. So yeah, definitely underrated.
Love it.
Next, habit trackers. Overrated or underrated? Habit trackers. I'm gonna be honest. I don't use them. I'm sorry. I don't. But I wouldn't go as far as saying that they're overrated. I would say maybe appropriately rated because I think it, depending on where you are in life and what you need, I think it could be really good, especially if you're trying to start a new habit. But yeah, I don't use them. So appropriately rated, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're overrated.
I have no idea.
I think that habit tracking is too rigid.
Fair.
At least like in the ones that I've seen where like if you get so stuck, like I think that the idea of building habits is like scientifically proven. Yes, very good. I think often when you see habit trackers, they are not built into the reality of living your life. And so then it can feel like this all or nothing kind of mentality. And then it ends up falling apart. So
okay.
I'm not a big fan of it. Now, I do think that there are ways to track your progress and stuff that can be great, but the concept of just like habit tracking, I think doesn't focus on like maybe the outcome and the adaptability you may need for your life. So overrated. Okay,
that's fair. Again, no idea because I've never used one. So I was like, sure, if you want to use it, great. If that works for you. Because I feel like some people just need a lot of structure, and I feel like that could be appropriate for those that really need it. But at the same time, you don't need that. Okay, next. New planners before new habits. Overrated or underrated? Do you need a new planner for a new habit? No. I guess kind of similar to habit tracking. No, I don't think you need. Do you? See, this is coming from someone who just sets intentions. So like, I just like, It's really off of just vibes. I'm gonna say overrated. I don't think you need like I like the idea of planners for sure, but like I don't think you need to get a new one every time you start a new habit. I think that's silly. But I don't know. Maybe I misspoke. My bad. I don't know. But what do you think?
So you're saying overrated then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm scared now.
No. Why all of a sudden you don't have opinions? Come on. I interpreted new planners before new habits as like you need a new planner, but you don't even have a new like habit yet. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I took it too literally.
I said it was right either. I don't know. I would say I'm not a planner girly. Okay, I've tried to be a planner girly. I've even gone so far as trying to design my own planner. And
True.
I just like I can't. I think I'm too much of like a tech person that like a physical planner just does not. And I know some people like love it and it's so cute and aesthetic. So like for me, I'm gonna say overrated simply because I personally don't really fuck with planners. So
yeah, and that's I feel that. I'm like, I don't really know. Because I don't use them really. Next, dry January. Is it overrated or underrated? Jess, I'll let you start with this one.
I'm gonna say I think it's appropriately rated. I know a lot of people who have done dry January. I think maybe you've done dry January. I think that like if you are doing it as like a reset moment or like as a even just like a hey, you don't feel like you're like for some people I know they're like, hey, I think I'm like actually spending too much money or I'm just like genuinely drinking too much and so I don't want to for January. Like that's cool. I personally don't do it because like I really don't drink much anyways, like maybe once a month, if that. So I don't, it feels like it would be like a fake intention kind of thing. If I was like, I'm doing dry January and like, I'm probably going to be dry all of January anyways. But I think if like, that's your vibe, I think it's appropriately rated.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's also appropriately rated coming from someone who's done dry January, not because I have a drinking problem, but simply because between Thanksgiving and my birthday and then Christmas, your girl's turn. So like, I really have to, that sounds really bad, but like, I feel like I consume more. No, it's not. I feel like I consume more alcohol in these months because I'm outside more. I'm going to these holiday pop-ups. There's cute holiday drinks involved. Then it's my birthday and all the things. So for me, I love a good reset, but yeah, I also think it's just appropriately rated. I think similar to what you just said, like if you need it as a reset for yourself because you've been spending too much money, you feel like you've been drinking too much, then yes. But if you're doing it just for vibes and aesthetic and you're just like, oh, it's the cool thing to do, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to do that. So, okay. Next, gym memberships in January. So essentially getting a gym membership in January. Is it overrated or underrated? I'll take it first. I would say I feel like it is appropriately rated as well. And I say this because I know that there's always been some sort of discourse around the resolutioners back in the day, starting like January 1st, we're in the gym and all these things. But some people genuinely like use that as an opportunity to catapult their fitness journey. I know I was a resolutioner and that's how I started. And so I think it's appropriately rated for what it is. I think that this is just PSA, like respect people in the gym, especially those that are coming in for the first time, because that is their first impression of how, like what gym etiquette is. And if you are complaining and you're upset, like, ugh, there's so many people in the gym, you don't know that somebody has struggled months before getting to the gym and this is like their first opportunity. So for me, I think it's appropriately rated for what it is because I think it's a great reset for a lot of people, a great way for people to kind of start their journeys and do what they need to do. So yeah, I think it's appropriately rated. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is underrated actually. And like basically everything you said, I agree with. Like, I'm never going to tell someone that it's the wrong time to start a new goal. First of all, right? Like, so if it is in January, congrats, welcome. Now, is it like annoying when the gym is packed? Yes. I told you this like last week. I drove to the gym. I was sitting in my car. It was freaking packed. And I literally drove home. I was like, I don't want to deal with this. Is it annoying when the gym is packed? Yes. Is that the fault of the new gym memberships? No. Blame the gym. Blame the corporation that's not expanding, okay? That's raising your rates but not getting better equipment and more space. Like, it's their fault, not the new gym membership people. So yeah, I'm never going to tell someone that it's a bad time to start a gym membership. If it's busier, like, again, it's not even New Year's and it was packed the other night. So like it's not because of the January gym membership people. So that's my take.
Yeah, that's completely valid. I agree with that. Okay, next. Public accountability posts on Instagram. Do we feel that they're overrated or underrated? This is interesting for me because let me ask a clarifying question. So would you consider, first of all, would you consider, you know how I told you earlier about the list? So the 25 things in 2025, et cetera.
Yeah.
Is that public accountability? Like, would you consider me?
I honestly don't remember how your posts were framed, but when you talk about those posts, I don't recall them being like, hold me accountable, guys.
Yeah. I think I share it just for like, hey guys, it's the new year.
This is what I'm going to be doing.
It's a fun thing. Now I have to go back and make sure they don't sound like, hold me accountable.
Before this episode airs, let me go clean up my IG.
Scrub my IG, all poster hidden. It's just, okay.
I'm going to go find it.
No, literally, and just screenshots. It's like, this is what it looked like before she edited her Instagram.
Receipts,
proof, timeline, all the things. I would say if it is strictly a post that is hold me accountable, I'm doing these things, like I want y'all to check in with me, don't do that. And I think that's overrated. You do not need to be expressing yourself like that on the internet. Like it's too much. Now, it is okay to have accountability partners, but I don't think you need to have 1,200 of your Instagram friends to hold you accountable for goals and intentions that you've set. I think that's silly. I think if you're genuinely sharing it as a way to maybe give people ideas on like how to set goals or set intentions, fine. If you framed it that way. Otherwise, just simple accountability, like hold me accountable, that's overrated and don't do that. Also, side note, this reminds me, the word accountability, I've heard it so much because I've been watching, and by the time this airs, it's already old news. Like the reunion already came out, but the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, that is literally all they talk about in every episode is that take accountability, hold yourself accountable. We need a lot of accountability in this group. I'm just like, shut up. Do you even know what the word accountability means? So anyway, seeing that, I'm just like, oh, that's what it reminds me of. So anyway, all to say that public accountability posts are overrated. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah. 100% agree, overrated. And also, if we hadn't learned, like, I'm not following this whole Mormon wives situation and like people taking accountability, but I think the entire Huda situation earlier this year taught us that nobody knows what accountability is. And obviously that even continued months later that we never even talked about on here. But like, just saying sorry is not accountability, for the record. But I digress. Yeah, I think that the idea, like, and I think that this is something that's like important for people to realize, I guess, with goal setting overall, is that if you need other people to hold you accountable for your own goals, you're not going to hit the goals. Like, it's, yeah, and it's like, it's one thing to like want someone that you can share stuff with, but to need someone is something totally different. And I even remember like way back, like when I was in grad school, I had a friend who like, she would only go to the gym if I went with her. Otherwise she wouldn't go. And like I had to, and like I started to get into that mindset as we were working out together. And then I had to be like, no, what am I doing? I can't like rely on this other person for my own fitness goal. You know what I mean? And so like,
right.
Yeah. So like expecting all of your Instagram followers to hold you accountable is like just simply never, ever, ever going to happen. But if you're excited about your goals and you just want to share them, I'm all for that. I'm all down. I mean, look at, we share our goals on this podcast. We're just yapping away. So like big fan of that, but if like it's expecting accountability, it's like not going to happen. And I think that's way just like, if I see that kind of post, I'm immediately going to be like, that person's dropping that goal in a week. It's not happening.
Yeah. And sure enough, they do. So yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Last but not least, financial goals before emotional goals. Is it overrated or underrated? Huh. I
I
don't
think
know.
overrated because I feel like
Okay.
finances are emotional.
Mm.
And I think that if you don't think that they are, then like you either A, have some stuff to unpack, or B, aren't a great person. Right? Because like if you don't think there's emotion behind finances, then you're either going to make financial decisions that are likely going to screw people over, and that's a big problem in our world overall, or
Mhm.
you haven't, like, if maybe you're making bad financial decisions and like you haven't unpacked your own emotions for why you do that. Right? So like work on yourself, and that will make the financial goals easier, in my experience and my opinion. But what do you think?
That's valid. You know what? I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, I have no
I'm like
notes on
on
that
one
one.
tonight. I think it's because I
You really
can't see my
are.
face tonight. Maybe I need to record without being able to see my face.
I actually that no, you're slaying right now. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I would also agree with that. I would also agree with that. So no notes.
Amazing.
All right. So let's go ahead and close out with the last drop of tea for the day.
Your goals shouldn't make you feel like a failure. They should make you feel hopeful.
You deserve to imagine a version of yourself you're excited to meet.
So carve out that hour, take that quiet moment, give yourself the space to dream.
You're becoming someone. Take the time to get to know her.
If this episode gave you motivation, clarity, or just made you feel less alone in the chaos, follow, subscribe, and leave a review.
Send it to that friend who keeps trying to set their goals in the middle of family game night.
You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more behind the scenes. It's at Sisterhood Tea Party. And remember, we love you and we're rooting for you.
See you next week and happy goal setting. Bye.